And scarcely can you believe, from those very humble political beginnings, that we come to a day like today when a man who is an absolutely establishment figure in this country and who in the past has been the biggest ever donor to any British political party in history, has come out today on the television, I'm of course talking about Stuart Wheeler, to say he's going to back UKIP in this current campaign. Haven't we come a long way since the East Divided? And I think, as a result of what Stuart has done, I think he's validated our campaign. I think there'll be many, many other people, some of them establishment, some of them not, that will take courage from Stuart's lead. There was one lovely line on the lunchtime interview, which we may be showing later, Malcolm, I'm not sure.
Unfortunately, we couldn't capture it.
It didn't work. Oh, well, I'll tell them anyway. There was a lovely line on that live interview at 10 to 1 today, when Stuart said to John Sopel, because Sopel said, well, are you concerned, Stuart, that you might be kicked out of the Conservative Party for what you've done? And Stuart said, he said, well, last night, he said, I had dinner with an old chum. He said, he was a dyed-in-the-wool Conservative Party supporter. He said, I thought I'd better tell him what I'd done, assuming that he'd be absolutely horrified. He said, to my surprise, he said, Stuart, isn't it funny? I was thinking of doing exactly the same thing. The news hot off the press, and one or two members tonight have criticised me for being on the mobile phone. It is turned off, by the way, for the speech. But the last phone call I got about 5 minutes ago was from Paul Nuttall, the party chairman, to tell me that the Daily Telegraph website has just posted at 7:30 the fact that Stuart Wheeler will be expelled from the Conservative Party. Of course Cameron has done it because he's terrified of other people publicly breaking ranks. That's why he's done it. But you know, sometimes in life, when you're in a weak position and you try to act tough, it actually bounces back on you. It actually creates the opposite effect. It's only the tough person with a tough position that can be tough, because that's consistent. You cannot be as wishy-washy as David Cameron is on this European issue and suddenly expel a person of Stuart Wheeler's stature without, in my view, others being happy to follow on. The question was about Roger Helmer and Daniel Hannan. There are 27 Tory MEPs currently in the Parliament, of whom 2, Roger and Dan, espouse the kind of views that we espouse, and 25 most certainly don't. Of that 25, there are perhaps half a dozen who in private, after a couple of these, might say, well, Nigel, we agree with you, but we dare not say so. The rest are utterly committed and wedded to the project of European Union, to the project of open borders, and to the concept that Turkey should join. I think Cameron's problem with those 2 individuals is this. Very often the press will talk about splits that exist within the Conservative Party on the question of Europe. Splits that Cameron has very effectively papered over, or had papered over, until Stuart Wheeler's intervention this morning. But I think the problem he's got is that both Roger and Dan are overwhelmingly the #1 lead candidates in the East Midlands and South East respectively, and I think that to get rid of those 2 would provoke the kind of civil war within the Conservative Party that he doesn't want. Now, it's a difficult balance for him, isn't it? Because on the one hand, he has to tolerate Roger and Dan, but on the other, he can't tolerate Stuart Wheeler. He can't tolerate Stuart Wheeler because for the Conservative Party to exist and to continue to exist, it needs to keep funds coming in. It needs to keep money coming in. So he finds himself in a very difficult position. But the answer is, they can't be got rid of. They are in effectively impregnable position. But one of the most inspiring things that Stuart said today, he was asked, you know, wasn't he going to be kicked out of the party? And he made the point, second time round, he made the point, look, the Conservative Party doesn't matter to me, the country is what matters to me, and we must take that attitude, and we must tell our friends and tell our family that a European election on June the 4th is a fantastic opportunity to cast aside any petty, traditional, tribal loyalty that we have to one party or another, and to put country before party, and to go out and to do that and to vote UKIP, and to send Cameron and Brown a message that is so resonant and is so strong and is so powerful that they simply won't be allowed to ignore it. I mean, what I'm after here, above all what I want this country to have a proper, full, free and fair referendum. I want us to have the opportunity to express an opinion as to whether we want to be governed by these institutions in Europe. And I don't want that decision taken by these gutless, chinless, useless career politicians in Westminster. They haven't got the right or the power under our Constitution to give away all that was created over centuries, all that was fought for and defended in 2 world wars. It is not in their right, in their gift, to give these things away. That's a decision for us.
To find out more about who we are and what we stand for, go to the UK Independence Party website at www.ukip.org.